Good evening. I'm Tobias Latter. Join me in this special evening edition of Rome Reports. Today we will investigate the U.S. relations with the Vatican. This is an episode you won't want to miss. We begin our investigation tonight with Sister Mary Clarence Thomas Mathias, excommunicated member of the Michigan Diocese. She's an expert. So, Sister, tell us a little bit more about Vatican-U.S. relations.
Well, in the early United States, there was a great deal of anti-Catholic sentiment. So, in 1867, the federal government banned the use of federal funds for diplomatic missions to the Vatican.
And please, go on.
During this time period, the United States had unofficial relations with the Vatican. But in 1951, President Truman attempted to appoint General Mark Clark as the official ambassador to the Vatican.
And after many years without an ambassador, how did the government react?
Not very well. Letters of outrage flooded the White House from all across the country, and Truman's own minister denounced him for this action.
That's a magnificent story. So what happened with Mark Clark?
Well, he didn't end up becoming ambassador, and Truman tossed away the issue and it didn't come back onto the table until the 80s.
After talking to the sister, I really felt like I knew a little bit about the history behind the Pre-Holy See and U.S. relationship. However, I knew that I would need to delve further into the development of that relationship and talk to someone who was on the ground in the 80s. I'm joined now by Reagan's dog walker's son, Bartholomew. We've talked a little bit about the history of before the church was recognized. But let's talk about when the U.S. and Vatican's relationship was recognized.
The U.S. and Vatican formally established relations on January 10th, 1984.
Really? Cool, man. So how'd that happen? Why did it happen?
Well, in my long walks with Reagan and his dog, we always discuss their commonalities, specifically between Reagan and His Holiness. So they both felt strongly about religious freedom, they were both strongly anti-communist, and they both had attempts on their life within 6 weeks of one another. So they felt a strong bond.
So it's like a bromance that led to relations.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older than we would have?
Well, it was kind of a bromance, but Reagan also had a political agenda behind it.
Really? Tell me more. Tell me more.
Well, in addition to Reagan's cabinet being full of Catholics, he was also very concerned about getting the Catholic swing vote in the upcoming election.
Now, I was a lobbyist for mining on the moon, so some would say I'm pretty good with politics. Wouldn't the Protestants find this whole situation just bad?
Well, actually, Reagan had Billy Graham, famous Protestant minister, look into the situation, and he fielded the question to his congregation, and they didn't seem blind. Plus, there was the momentum of the civil rights movement, and just the general lack of media coverage on that specific issue.
Dreamy. I mean, it's quite interesting, Thank you for sharing. In closing, from times to when relations between the United States and the Holy See was completely off the table, to a time when the leader of the free world is in constant contact with the Holy See, what I feel I've learned is how the United States has changed over time to be a more embracing and accepting nation towards the Catholic Church. This has really been an educational experience. Join us next week as we talk about the many different issues that the Vatican new Pope faces. This is Tobias Lateran, signing off. Stay classy, UT. Discuss the many different challenges a new Pope faces as he joins the segment said in the That's magnificent. Now let me do it. Stand like this.
Yes.
Sister Clarence.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So
Yes.